कहानी मत बता यार, सीधे मुद्दे पे यार. I don't have time to listen to your bloody stories. I mean, how many times you have heard customers talk to you like this? You know why they talk to you like this? Because you were not telling stories in the right way. Your story was not right. Hello friends, this is Sanjay Singh, your sales coach. In this video, we're going to talk about how do you make use of storytelling to develop that personal rapport, that personal contact with the customer. First of all, it's important for all of us to understand that why stories are important. You know, when you are telling a story, there is apprehension, there is anticipation, there is excitement in the minds of the listener, because what is going to happen next is a thought in the minds of the listener which actually secretes dopamine and adrenaline in the minds of the customer, which makes them feel excited enough to talk to you further and interact with you in the sales process. So if you feel that storytelling is a form of lying, no, I don't want to lie as a salesperson. If you feel that storytelling is a method of hoodwinking the customer, absolutely not. You're just trying to make the conversation interesting so that the person can listen to you. Now hear me out. There are 7 different types of stories that every salesperson must master if you want to develop that personal rapport with the customer. In this video, I'm going to tell you those 7 stories. First of all, let's look at introduction stories, because when you're meeting a customer for the first time, the customer generally asks you, "Alright Sanjay, can you tell me something about yourself?" Or "Sanjay, how can I help you?" You know, those typical introduction talks. And generally I've seen salespersons starting out talking up as if they are in there for an interview. They start rolling out their brand. "My name is Sanjay Singh and I'm an engineer, I'm doing this and I. Oh my god. What is this I business, man? You gotta make it interesting, isn't it? So when someone tells me, "Okay Sanjay, tell me something about yourself," I tell it in a very small story. I say, "Hey, I'm a sales professional. My love for sales started way back in 1987 when I started working for Eureka Forbes. Fast forward, did my engineering, did my MBA, went abroad. But ever since, I've been working closely with customers, helping them out, solve a problem at their end. And today I have come for a similar meeting with you. How much time did it take? 1 minute. What have I told about myself? I've told when I started. I told what is my infatuation with sales. How did I get into this profession? And I also told the customer that I work closely with customers to help them solve their problems. I've told everything about myself through this small story, isn't it? Now, you can have an introduction story. There are cases where people will ask you, "Okay, tell me something about your company." And that is called the company introduction story. Where you say that, "Okay, my company started way back in 2018 in Kolkata." And then, there's a way to tell your story, which I'll tell you. But a story which introduces you should be mastered by you. A story which introduces your company should be mastered by you. And there's another story which introduces the core competency of your company. Like I run a company where the core competency into sales coaching. So I have a story that how and why sales coaching became my core competence. So 3 stories: self-introduction, company introduction, and core competency introduction. Any of these 3 stories can be used by you at the time of self-introduction. Okay, let's come to the next stage of sales, where you are trying to show your market insight to the customer. These are known as insight stories. Now, typically what happens, you tell to the customer, like when I'm talking to my customer, I tell to my customers that, "Hey, if you want to get your sales team 10 by me, I'm going to charge you 5 lakh rupees for a day." And the customer says, "Oh my god, 5 lakhs, what am I going to do with my team? And this is too expensive," and so on and so forth. Now, what am I trying to tell to the customer? I'm trying to tell to the customer that, "Charlie, don't look at the 5 lakhs that you're spending with me. Look upon it as an investment, because I'm going to increase your turnover by 50 lakhs. Now, this is a truth which I cannot say in so many words, because if I say it like this, he will not like it. So what do? I create an inside story to communicate the same feeling. How do I go about it? I go about it that, sir, when I started my work, somewhere in 2012, I met with the same response that you did, and this was a customer in Chennai. I just remembered him when I spoke to you. This customer also felt that my fees was too high. But then, to cut the long story short, he got into a real sales mess, he employed my services. He was on a turnover of 1,000 crores, and post my training and coaching of 6 months, we were able to take the company to 1,200 crores. This 200 crore increment, and assuming that he was making a profit of 5% on the gross receipt, we are talking of 10 lakh increments, sir. To cut the long story short, ever since, this customer has been a very dear customer of mine. Now, I have told a small story. In this story, I tried to tell to the customer that, Charlie, don't look at the 5 lakhs you're giving to me. Look at the 50 lakhs that you're going to earn from me. But I will tell this through an inside story so that the customer likes it and he also understands the moral behind the story. So, the fourth story has to be a market insight story, and similarly, a fifth story can be a market differentiation story, where you want to tell a story to tell to the customer how you and your services are different from the competition. Alright? Like I typically tell that, sir, when you deal with me, we come with a guarantee of growth in your sales. We just don't come with good English to talk about training. Now, this is the differentiator for me. Now, this differentiator is woven into a story, and I tell to the customer in the form of a story. Similarly, the sixth and seventh story are closing stories, because typically at the time of closure, customer is trying to take the last pound of flesh from you, customer is trying to drive the last pound of discount from you, and at the time of discount, if you tell to the customer that, sir, I can't afford it, sir, this is beyond my bottom line, the customer doesn't believe you, right? Tell him a story. Tell him how another customer somewhere in Jumri Tilaya wanted to get a discount from you and how he suffered. Tell the story to him. He will equate it with himself and will stop bouncing on your last pot of flesh. So friends, storytelling is a skill. Storytelling is a science. You have to master it. This video is not about teaching you how to tell stories. This video is only about telling you that why storytelling is important in sales to have a personal rapport, and so I'm also about telling you the 7 different kind of stories that every salesperson must master to become a sales ninja. So if you have not been telling stories and you have just been trying to rattle out facts in front of a customer, hear me out. Check out my other video on how to curate stories which are effective and impactful to the customer, and I'm sure that will help you in increasing and maximizing your closing ratio. For now, it's time for me to say bye-bye. I hope you now understand the importance of storytelling as a tool to develop personal rapport with your customers. Till we meet again, in my next video, it's important that you connect me to all salespeople known to you. Go down and subscribe on my channel if you have not done it till now. I come with regular videos on sales every week with a very strong mission of empowering 1 million salespersons with the science of selling before 2025. I'm proud to be a salesperson, and if you don't feel proud of the fact that you chose sales as your profession, please write to me, because one of us has to be telling the truth, isn't it?